Good morning, Mirna. Good morning, Cynthia. Good morning, Nada.
Good morning, Miss.
Okay, one more minute. How is fasting? Okay. Good morning, Tala.
Good morning.
Hi, Lean.
Hi.
Okay, I think I'm gonna start sharing the screen now. Gonna ask you two quick questions related to last week's lesson. Did you guys watch the video? Did you get a chance to watch the video yet? No, I guess that's a no. The iPhone, is that you, Mahdi? Mahdi?
Yeah.
Okay, good morning. Okay, which of the following is the law related to domestic violence in Lebanon? What is it called? Law 352, Law 430, or Law 293?
Are we supposed to know this?
Yep, from last week. We read the, the PowerPoint. It was in the reading. If you don't recall, you can Google it right now. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I just remember.
Someone answered. That's good. Law 293. Okay, let's see. I need 7 more answers. Come on, guys. Good morning, Joelle.
Good morning, Miss.
Okay, Joelle, I'm resending the link so that you could answer the question, but please do that quickly. Okay, 2 answers. Come on, guys. It's just a punch of a button. Come on. It's not graded. Just seeing what you guys recall. Hi, Ren. Okay, I'm glad you were able to join. Just answer the question, Ren, before I move on to the next one. Okay, four answers. That's good. 4 good answers. Okay, so the domestic violence law in Lebanon, yes, is called Law 293. What do we mean by domestic violence? Who can explain to me? Joelle, can you explain that? Who can explain to me domestic violence? What do we mean by domestic?
Domestic. It's about the things that happen between
Exactly.
families
Exactly. So it's violence at home. Okay.
and sexual harassment.
Okay. So anything related to violence in the context of home. Yes. Okay. Okay. Domestic means home. It could be related also to the kids when, the kids are battered or hit psychologically or physically by their parents. That is also domestic violence. Okay. Anything related to the household. Okay. 5 correct
It
answers.
can include
Yes, Ren, I'm sorry.
physical, sexual, emotional, social, economic abuse also.
Any sort of abuse, yes, that is called domestic violence related to the house, of course. Now, my second question, which I'm going to display now. Okay. Okay. Tell me if you see it. This law is satisfactory for everyone. This law 293, which is related to domestic violence where people are punished because of it, is satisfactory. Is it good for everyone? False. Okay. Come on, I want more answers. Okay. It's not satisfactory for everyone. So that's the correct answer. Why isn't it satisfactory for everyone? Why isn't this law good enough? Can anyone tell me?
Because it's incomplete.
It's incomplete. Thank you, Lean. It's incomplete. It doesn't include everything that happens in the household. Most of the time, we've witnessed this so many times in Lebanon. You guys see this. I've heard this in the news. Women are killed. The children are sometimes killed by being battered. And the culprit, the criminal, gets away with it. If he's the father or, the head of the household, he gets away with it because the laws are very lax. They always find an excuse for the violator. Okay, so the law needs to be, what do we call the word for fixing the law or improving it? If you get this, I'll add 1 point to your quiz. If we need to improve the law, what's the word we say? It starts with an A. The law needs to be okay, a word for improve. Anyone? No one?
Amplified.
AM, that's for half a point. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Come on. Improving something, changing it in a way, amended. Okay, amended. We have the law. Thank God. You said amended, Cynthia? You did?
Tala.
Tala, you said amended? Okay. Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, that's half a point there. So amended, that we have the law, thank God, but it's not enough. We need to amend it, improve it, okay? So now we can go back to our PowerPoint lesson, which is about domestic violence, particularly in Lebanon. Okay, let's move on directly to the organizational skills questions. What type of introduction does, the writer use? And explain that. Ren, Would you please read the introduction
Yeah.
displayed?
Of course. Nada Pahlawan was shot and killed by her husband at dawn January 22 in Beirut. The same day, a man stabbed his wife in South Lebanon after a dispute over doing the dishes. On December 16, British diplomat Rebecca Deeks was raped and murdered.
Okay, what kind of an introduction is that?
Anecdote.
Yes, okay, that's an anecdote. He's the author. She is telling the story of three women who were
Is narrating a story.
okay. It's a brief narration of the stories of those three women. Okay, now why does the author do that? Can you read the answer, please, Ren?
The writer begins the article with an anecdote, brief narration. He mentions actual names of incidents reporting domestic violence, shocking the reader with these scary facts in order to attract
his attention. Okay, great. Let's move on to the second question. Now, okay, now what three types of evidence does the writer use to achieve credibility? Let's move on to the first page of the text. Give me one type of evidence used on this page in paragraphs 1 and 2, Lean.
Real life example.
Exactly, the real life example of, for example, Nada Pahlawan and another woman and Rebecca Dykes. So those are all done in order to achieve credibility. Okay, another type of, let's see, another type of supporting evidence. What can we see in on this page? A supporting evidence. This question goes statistics. Okay, which one?
Law 293 was adopted in April 20.
Okay, can we say real names and real dates instead of statistics? Isn't that better? Okay. And finally, okay, one final type of supporting evidence used here, Nada. Let's say in paragraphs 10 and 11. Nada, can you answer? Can you hear me? Tala, can you give me a type of supporting evidence in paragraph 11?
Yes, there's an expert opinion.
Okay, who's the expert?
Officer Diala Haidar.
Okay, Diala Haidar, why is she an expert? Because what's her position?
She's in media and communication.
Yes, she is the CAFA Media and Communications Officer. Okay, she's the communication officer. Have you heard of CAFA? Okay, no. This is an NGO, non-governmental organization related to women's rights, the violation of women's rights. If a woman is being violated, there's a hotline that they provide, and they even give her psychological and financial support. Okay, it's pretty recent. Okay, so now we have three types of supporting evidence. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, the chart here. Okay, who can analyze this chart for us? When we say DV, we mean domestic violence. The following bar graph shows the number of domestic violence cases between 2002 and 2010. Read it carefully and then answer the question that follows. What does the bar graph above indicate about the number of domestic violence reported between the years 2002 and 2010? Okay, how do we begin analyzing the chart? Ren.
In the given graph, the bar graph that shows the number of domestic violence cases in 2010.
Okay, full stop. That's my topic sentence. Now we start.
And then we.
Okay.
Yes, we start at the number of domestic violence cases in 2002.
Okay. Let's take a look at the trend.
Miss, we start in the great decreasing.
And then it flattens and then, you know, it goes
then
up
constant.
And then goes down and then. So what can this tell you about the number of domestic violence, reported cases of domestic violence in Lebanon? The reported, remember, this doesn't mean that the number of domestic violence cases, because that's on the rise. What can you tell about people reporting domestic violence?
It's increasing.
Is it? Take a look at the curve here. Okay, what?
As the year. No, it's decreasing. The number was 33.
Is it?
And the lowest was 26.
It's neither increasing or decreasing. It's what do we call this? Fluctuating. It's not stable. Why do you think so? The cases of reported domestic violence, why do you think it's fluctuating? Why isn't it, why aren't we reporting more domestic violence cases?
Maybe because with the help of the organizations.
Okay, why aren't they being reported more? I'm talking until 2010. Of course, things might have changed now.
Maybe they were scared.
Exactly. Exactly. People are reluctant. Women are reluctant. Okay. And if the children are the ones being violated, they are even more reluctant. Let's read the answer, please, Joelle.
Okay. The bar graph shows the number of domestic violence cases between 2002 and 2010. The number of domestic violence cases fluctuated between the years 2002 and 2010. It started with 30 cases in 2002, then decreased to 22 only to rise again to 33 in 2006. The number then dropped until it reached 20 by 2008-2009. In 2010, it rose again to 26 cases per year. Thus, we conclude that the number of domestic violence cases in this time period isn't stable. Maybe because
people are
afraid to report
are reluctant or afraid
domestic violence
to report such cases. Okay, we you know, they care about what society will say. It's a shame to report such things, etc. Okay, now final part of this lesson before we move on to the worksheet, vocab. Mirna, the vocab, please. Mirna, are you there? She is. Okay. Cynthia.
Yes, miss.
Cynthia, would you please read the directions?
Okay. Use contextual clues to figure out the meaning of each word below and then fill in the blanks with the correct words to complete the sentence that follow. The words are bold typed in the text.
Mhm.
Okay. Should I read the first question? The first one. Corruption has created a huge blank, scaring the government from further riots. Corruption has created a huge backlash.
Yes, backlash, and the context clue is scaring the government, so that would be backlash. Okay, number 2, Tala.
The villagers were fighting with chi-
Chivalry is
chivalry to keep chivalry, yes, to keep their country part of the capital. Uh,
Okay, they wanted to keep their country part of an area. Which word here means area?
area.
Hmm.
Is it province?
Can anyone help out Tala here?
Huh?
Well, it's not amendments. They want to keep it part of a certain area. What's the word?
I think she said it.
No, I asked if it's
Tala, did you say it?
province.
Province. Yes, province. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Okay. Number 3, Lean.
Peaceful relations are a priority to keep a family united. Peaceful domestic.
Exactly, domestic. Number 4, Mahdi. Okay, we had one boy in the meeting, he left. Okay, number 4, Joel. Is Ali still there? Ali? No, he's not.
He left a couple of minutes.
Wow. Okay, Cynthia, would you answer that, please?
It's stigma.
Yes. The stigma of having gone to prison will always be with me. Okay, the shame. Okay, so this is it for this lesson. Let's move on to the worksheet now. Okay, the worksheet is also about human rights. It's called Commitment to Democracy. Okay, Ren, would you please start reading?
Yes, miss. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Read the blurb or start with the
Yes,
paragraph?
always read the blurb first.
Part 1, Reading Comprehension. Read the selection below about how the United Nations supports democracy around the world and answer the questions that follow. Commitment to democracy. The values of freedom, justice, and respect for human rights are essential elements of democracy. In turn, democracy provides the natural environment for the protection and effective realization of human rights. These sublime values are enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and further developed in the International Covenants on Human Rights.
Okay, Ren, do you remember what the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is?
مش هذا حقوق الإنسان العالمي.
Exactly, الإعلان. Okay, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Remember which city it was agreed upon in? In Paris, okay, 1942.
in Paris.
Yes. Okay, did Lebanon sign this declaration?
Yes.
Of course we did. Okay, paragraph 2. Nada? Nada, can you participate now? Okay, let me read paragraph 2.
Nada's out.
Nada?
Nada's out.
Okay, Nada's out. I'll read paragraph 2. The Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights is the principal human rights official of the United Nations. It represents the world's commitment to universal ideals of human dignity. It has a unique mandate from the international community to promote and protect all human rights. It provides input to global and regional actions for promoting democracy and human rights in cooperation with the United Nations agencies and regional organizations. In addition to assisting national actors and institutions involved in the administration of justice, it focuses on enhancing the capacity of parliaments to promote and protect human rights. Who is this it? Who are we talking about? Cynthia, who are we talking about?
Talking about the United Nations.
Oh.
The human rights declaration done in Paris.
Okay, agents. In addition, but what exactly in the United Nations? Can we be more specific?
The Office of the United Nations High Commissioner
Exactly. This
for
is
Human Rights.
Related to the human rights and violations related to it. Okay, it works alongside with different agencies in the government and outside the government to enhance the rights of humans. Okay, Lean, would you please read paragraph 3?
According to the UN General Assembly, the evolution of democratic norms and standards should be clearly matched by an ever greater operational activity on the ground concerning democracy-related issues, such as elections, building institutions, strengthening civil society, and the rule of law. Such efforts should continue to grow to consolidate democracy around the globe and improve the quality of the world's democratic institutions and practices.
Okay, thank you. Next, Joelle, would you please read? Joelle? Ren?
Yes, miss.
Paragraph 4, please.
One board concept that is central to democratic practices and peace building is constitution making, which is part of the UN global efforts. It ranges from drafting a new constitution to reforming an existing one. Both the processes are needed for the success of constitution making, which presents a great opportunity to create a common vision of the future of a country. The results of accomplishing them have a profound and lasting impact on democracy, peace, and stability. In particular, the inclusion of commitments in peace.
Okay, so what should every country have in according to paragraph 4?
It should have peace building.
Okay.
And constitution making.
Okay, good. What's a constitution? You can even say it in Arabic. What's a constitution to a country? Okay, the constitution is the set of laws that a country has.
Dustur, yani.
Dustur, thank you, dustur. Okay, we have a constitution. Is it perfect? We do have a constitution in Lebanon. Is it perfect?
No, because no one is applying it.
Okay, but even the Constitution, sometimes the laws inside the Constitution have flaws, have, some problems. We have a Constitution, that's great, but sometimes we need to reform it. What does reform mean?
Reform it like إنه ترجع تعيد يعني the same concept but like different law.
Yes.
يعني the same idea but you can change the way of the law.
Okay, you have to improve it. Reforming something means like renewing it, improving it. Okay, because many of the laws have now become outdated. Okay, so the inclusion of commitments in peace agreements to address ethnic, regional, and or political tensions in a constitutional framework can be a vital element in consolidating peace. Similarly, provisions to reform national systems can provide an important platforms for efforts to strengthen democracy and the rule of law. Okay, so there's a stress here on the rule of law and on keeping peace. Paragraph 5. Mirna. Did Mirna join again? Mirna? Yes, she's here. Mirna, can you read, please? Nada? Well, Cynthia, paragraph 5.
All right. The United Nations provides a wide variety of election-related technical assistance to requesting member states. In electoral assistance activities, it tries to ensure organizational coherence and political and technical consistency in electoral activities. A coordination mechanism has been established with relevant United Nations departments, agencies, and programs involved in electoral assistance.
Okay, so according to this paragraph, Cynthia, the United Nations can help when? How can it help a nation?
By providing a wide variety of election-related technical assistances,
Yes.
requesting member states.
During election time, during the times of elections, in order to make sure what?
It ensures organizational coherence and political and technical consistencies.
Exactly. Okay, paragraph 6. Besides, a functioning democracy requires a free, active, and responsible civil society. To this end, civil society organizations, including non-governmental organizations, human rights groups, women's groups, youth groups, professional societies are indispensable. It means they're very important. The United Nations supports over 400 civil society projects in more than 150 member states. These projects aim to strengthen the voice of civil society and encourage the collaborative participation of all groups in democratic processes. The large majority of the support steps goes to local non-governmental organizations and focus on the strengthening of democratic dialogue, civil society empowerment, civic education, freedom of the press, and the strengthening of the rule of law. What do we mean by civil society? Who is the civil society? If you know the term in Arabic, you can say it. What do we mean by civil society? Is it the government?
It's the people living in the certain place we're talking about.
Exactly. The people.
بس يعني مجتمع مدني.
Thank you. المجتمع المدني. The people living in this state, okay, their rights being upheld. The United Nations also helps civil societies in order to prosper and have a voice. Okay. Paragraph 7, Lean.
Empowering women and promoting women's rights are an integral part of United Nations democracy assistance. This includes addressing gender discrimination that contributes to women's exclusion and the marginalization of their concerns. In addition, the United Nations supports democracies in improving gender responsiveness in the context of elections and promoting women's political participation. The areas of support that are particularly noteworthy include building the capacity of women and elected officials and promoting increased attention to women in politics and the media.
Okay, so paragraph 7, the United Nations here also helps in which field? How is the UN helping here? What group of people is it helping?
Is it in improving gender responsiveness
Exactly.
in the context of elections and promoting women's political participation?
Yes, thank you. Okay, more political participation of women, and it contributes to, okay, it addresses the exclusion and marginalization of women. What does it mean for a group to be marginalized, Tala? If something is on the margin, what's that? Is it included?
No, I think it's being not important or
Exactly. Marginalized means being put on the margin or
um,
excluded. So the United Nations is also trying to include women and make them less marginalized and more active in their societies. Okay, finally, paragraph 8. Tala, why don't you please read it?
okay. There are many recommendations relating the United Nations cooperation with both intergovernmental democracy movements as well as regional and intergovernmental organizations working in the field of democracy promotion to support the continuing efforts of the United Nations in providing sustainable democracy assistance. It is necessary to enhance the reach of the International Day of Democracy and to expand the democracy assistance of the United Nations
Globally. Okay, if I were to ask you to sum up the main idea of this whole article in one sentence, who can do that? Who can tell me the main idea of this article? Okay, this article discusses how the United Nations is, what's the United Nations doing? How is it helping out?
how it's providing assistance.
Assistance, okay, in order to promote what? One word.
Women,
In order to promote what?
women's rights.
Uh, it's not the main, it's one of the things, but it, in order to promote the democracy, in order to promote democracy or the rule of the people, okay? So it addresses women's rights, it addresses elections and the civil society, and this is how human rights and democracy are promoted. You guys are going to have to answer this worksheet, of course, on your own. And please send it to me when you finish. It's not graded, but it's required for the quiz. Any questions before we end this session? No questions?
Yes. No.
Okay, thank you then. Thank you
Okay.
for listening. Bye.
Bye, miss.
Bye.